Hey guys, SirVern back here, and today I am re-recording Cult of the Lamb PS5 review. So I'm going to go over graphics, performance, gameplay slash story, replayability, then fun factor, give each category a score from 1 to 10, average them up, and then talk about the game a little bit. So I felt I had to just I reviewed this last night, but I wanted to re-record just because I had a few extra things to say about what the game is. So this is a action strategy RPG kind of. A lot of customization. It has procedurally generated rooms and like a boss at the end, but you also have to like maintain and manage your flock. You build buildings. You make a lot of decisions on like how to customize your little group. Uh, and see right here, you can see like different attire you can wear does different things that you can unlock. Start off with more hearts or do more damage, that kind of thing. But anyway, let's start with graphics. So, graphics I'm going to give an 8. I think they're very good. Cartoonish stylized graphics. I like this game, the way it looks. But you may see in the screenshots coming that some of them look a bit off. I noticed that myself, but they do not look like that in game. I'm not sure why the screenshots turned out a bit odd, but you'll see that maybe. So, graphics an 8. Performance, it was perfectly playable, fine in every way, except there were some frame drops when like crazy action would be going on screen. So like, if you had a bunch of guys you were fighting on top of some powers you were doing, I noticed that there was a bit of frame drop, so that was kind of disappointing, but I only knocked it 1 point for that. So performance I give a 9. Compared to the last game I played, which I'll review soon, good lord, this is a shining example of how games should run, because I was able to actually finish it. Game breaking bug on the last game, but so performance a 9. Next up is gameplay slash story. So you can see here, I gave a sermon. You can do rituals. Here it makes like the fishing really good for the next few days. You can see that one. Catch more fish. So yeah, you go on like little quests, and they're all like randomly generated rooms followed by like a boss. So you get a random weapon to start off with, and then like a random power up. So yeah, every run's going to be vastly different. So I guess that might be like a roguelike. It's really interesting the way that works, and I like it because sometimes you can be like super OP, and sometimes you might struggle a little bit because some of the weapons, the really slow weapons, I wasn't a big fan of. But you can fish in this game. You do rituals. You customize. You can even name your little characters. Here you can see me doing a ritual. These are the screenshots. This is my dog Otis. I had to capture that. You had this little mini game you could play, which is really fun. It took me a bit to learn, and here you can see some fishing. But so there's a lot of different things you can do, and like I said, you can customize. There's a huge like skill tree, like unlocking certain buildings and things like that. Here I'm coming up to a boss to fight. And nothing really spoiler in this game. There's only 4 main bosses, but you fight them over and over and over. So yeah, you might want to skip like 15-20 seconds or maybe a minute if you're really worried about this first boss, but I wouldn't worry about it if I were you. And the story is really interesting. You start a cult. I don't want to say too much more than that, but the reason for that you'll find out by playing the game. It's really interesting and cool and unique. There's not a game like this that I know of. Combat's really fun. I wish the game would focus more on combat, however, rather than, base management, your people getting hungry, that kind of thing. I kind of wish more emphasis was put on the combat because I really enjoyed it. But between the awesome gameplay, I really liked the gameplay, and the okay story, nothing wrong with the story, but just say gameplay's better. I'm going to give it a 7.5. And I know that seems a little low, but the story, like I said, was just okay. And the gameplay is a bit repetitive. And that's going to really... Like, I had a lot of fun. When I first started this game, it was going up, up, up. Then it plateaued for a while. And then it kind of overstayed its welcome just a little bit. So that's why I kind of knocked it down a little bit. So, because once you kind of figure out the gimmicks and how the game works. It just, it overstayed its welcome. It could have been 25% shorter. But anyway, I give it a 7.5 for gameplay and story. Replayability, gave this a 5, which is higher than I thought I might give it, but it did unlock, like I said, it's randomly generated, so that's almost infinite replayability if you look at it like that. So that adds to it. Also unlock permadeath mode. There's different difficulty modes. There's DLC for this game that I haven't jumped into, and I'm not sure if I will or not. A few different buildings I didn't even unlock my first go around, and I probably put 25 to 30 hours into this game. And that's a, and you think about that, between, there's only, maybe 10 different enemy types, 4 bosses. It's not a ton of content, so that's why the gameplay and the replayability is going to suffer a little bit because of that. You'll get bored of this game, I think, after a while, even with the procedurally generated levels and stuff like that. So replayability, I'm going to give a 5. Respectable, but you're not going to play this game 2 and 3 times, I don't think. Maybe 2 times, but not 3. I doubt. You might play it twice. Last category is fun factor. Had a good time with this game. Not a great time. It wasn't the best game I've ever played, but it was super worth the money. I want to say this was like a $30 game new. I think I even got it used for like $15 new, something crazy like that. So it's definitely worth that price of admission. Unique story, good gameplay, but it can get repetitive, so just keep that in mind. So just one more time to recap: graphics an 8, performance a 9, gameplay/story a 7.5, replayability a 5, fun factor a 7. That averages out to a 7.3 out of 10. So it's a good game. Nothing to really complain about other than repetitiveness, but there's a lot of stuff to unlock. Some people might just dive into this. This is an awesome, just brainless game you can play without paying too much attention. So that's kind of cool. And once you get the hang of it, it gets easier and easier. So you might want to bump up the difficulty. So yeah, it's got a good bit going for it. In notes I wrote, it's too repetitive and then too much micromanaging. Like I said earlier, I wish more emphasis would have been put on the combat, because it was awesome. I really liked the combat, and maybe more enemy types. But yeah, I like the random cards you get to power up your guy. And you take some risks in this game, so you can choose the path of going to the boss. So some will be question marks, and you can kind of take a risk. Sometimes you can be made worse or have like curses put on you. So anyway, it's an interesting game. Really glad they put this out physically. I love when indie developers do that. I'm not even sure if this is an indie developer, but I'm pretty sure it is. But anyway, if you haven't checked this out, and especially if you see it on sale, I think you should. It's a pretty good game. SirVern out.